got put on an like a Reddit, like an r/Dominoes. And I actually had a manager like post underneath it, and he was like, "Do not do this. This is insanely unsanitary, and whoever allowed for this to happen should be fired as well as the employee."
Hey guys, it's Leah. If you are on any form of social media, you've probably seen this photo. It's gone viral a number of times. I ended up catching up with the person who was in this photo, and he agreed to meet with me via Zoom. So without further ado, let's get into it.
What's up, guys? My name is Lewi V. I make EDM or heavy dubstep. I'm 22. I live here on the Oregon coast, and yeah, I guess I'm hanging out here with Leah. What's up?
So I'm just gonna get into the interrogation, I think.
Okay, I'm ready.
So what is your name again?
So my real name, or the name I go by, or the name
that you go by?
Okay, so it's a long story. I can make it long or really short. It's up to you. But my name that I go by is Lewis, hence the name Lewi V. The reason why it's spelled Lewiv instead of Louis, like Louis Vuitton is kind of for that bounce off, like Lewi. My name is spelled Lewis, so Lewi V. And it was actually a nickname that I was given from a old, really close friend when we first met. He accidentally called me Lewis, even though that's not my real name. We can go into that a little bit later if you want, but I was accidentally called Lewis by an old friend of mine, and it was just, it just stuck. It made both of us laugh our asses off, and we ended up like hanging out a lot more. And it just became a back and forth thing. We'd call each other Lewis just like as an inside joke, and then it stuck forever. The name Lewi V for a lot of people just kind of sounds like, you know, fuckboyish, just sounds like, oh, he's trying to, you know, sound gangsta. The reality of the situation is the whole point of being called Lewi V is, especially in my music, what I fucking wear, how I present myself. I'm nothing like a fashion designer. I'm a bootleg fashion designer. You know, that's kind of the joke. That's the insider. And the name Lewis, all in all, has a lot of meaning to me. Even though that friend and I don't really talk too much, that name kind of really helped me take myself out of, you know, kind of my scared bubble. When I was younger, I was super duper paranoid. I didn't really talk to anyone. I was super to myself. But then when I moved to Colorado, I just was like, fuck it, I'm changing everything. I'm going by Lewis in the state. Nobody's going to even know my real name. And hey, I mean, it definitely worked. Like all through high school, there was, you know, a bunch of people that didn't even know my real name. So yeah, I was supposed to be a very formal kid. It's long hair, man. I got to have it in like a man bun, you know. I got to be wearing Dockers.
I didn't even know that your hair was that long.
Oh, no shit.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I never actually noticed.
Yeah, you got to keep it long. I always keep it tucked in this beanie, man. So I used to have the fuckboy swoosh, right? Here we go. I'll keep it out. I'll keep it out like this so you can be like, oh shit, he actually has long hair. But I used to have the fuckboy swoosh, you know, all through high school, and well, mostly through middle school. And then like halfway through high school, I was like, you know what? I'm fucking done being like, you know, like all day, every day, you know, like every 5 fucking seconds, gotta swoosh my hair back. So I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna grow it out long. And obviously, when you grow your hair out long, when you've had bangs for so long, they're just always banged, right? So I was like, okay, this is pissing me off because now it's gone from this to this. So I was like, how do I get rid of it? Thus came the beanie. And the beanie never left. So I wear a beanie like all day, every day. It's pretty bad. I guarantee in like 5 years, I'm gonna have like a receding hairline and shit. I'm gonna look like 60.
No, you're just gonna, one day you're gonna take off the beanie and the hair is gonna go with it.
Oh shit, yeah, it's just gonna blow.
Like it just became like a piece.
It just melds to the beanie, dude.
You're just like totally bald under there. every producer too, like, well, not every producer, but I've noticed like, it's almost like a sport, like baseball, where like they'll wear like certain socks or whatever at games. Like there's
Totally.
producers who like they need to produce with like their hood up or this certain hat or
Hell
whatever,
yeah, hell
like
yeah. You
they go
gotta
into their
be,
corner.
you totally, it's one of those things, it doesn't matter what you produce, you gotta be like in your mojo. Like, it's funny, I actually really hate hot spaces, hot areas. I don't like to be hot. I'd rather be freezing cold any day of the week. But whenever I'm in this chair producing, this room needs to be like 95 degrees. I gotta be sweating up a storm. I have no idea why, but the warmer I am, the more like ready to go I am. So it's like, you gotta have those like weird mojo things that just like help you like, you know, everybody has their own thing. Like, you know, some producers are like, dude, I can only produce in boxers. Like, boom, done. Like,
In
sorry.
boxers. I for a second I thought you said in boxes. I was like, well,
Just
how small is
inside
your
of a cardboard
studio?
box.
They
Dude,
just
I would
build a
love,
fort.
I would fucking love to watch someone produce some shit in a cardboard box. I would just be astonished. but but
That's
no,
like
I
that's
don't know.
drive.
Yeah, exactly. That's motivation right there.
It's so funny that you talked about the hot because I'm the it, I've never heard any other human being ever say that because I do the same thing because I'm always cold, and when I'm cold, like all I want to do is go lay down to get
Yep,
under the covers. But
same.
being hot forces me to like continue. Plus, I want to get done. So,
Yes.
and when you mix faster, you mix better because there's no ear fatigue.
Yeah, I was
So
just about to say, I have nimble ass fingers, dude. My hands are always cold. So it's like when I'm not working on a keyboard, when I'm not like heavily listening to stuff, like it's really hard for me to focus when I'm cold. So
mhm.
like I gotta heat the fuck up out of a room and just get, especially with mixing, that is the number one thing that I can't do. I'm so fucking scared because if I ever end up getting a lot further on, obviously I'm gonna have to be mixing, like there's some outside areas, outside events, like dude, when my hands get fucking cold, it's so hard for me to mix. Like my hands are just like they glitch, dude. Like I mix like every beat match when my hands are cold. So you'll notice like I do this shit like in a lot of my mixes. I don't know if you've seen on my videos, and you'll see like my hands move around a lot and I go like this a little bit. That's what I'm doing. I'm actually warming up my hands, but I think it was like the
I
first
just
three that
thought
I
you
ever
were
did.
feeling it.
No.
Yeah, you were getting into.
Dude, I'm feeling it when you start to see the back of my head, that's how you know I'm feeling it, because I get like really slouched. I'm like, yeah, you know, I have a really bad hunchback. I slouch like a motherfucker.
You know, my thing is I remember we were doing like sometimes on Zoom, like we'll do like kind of cook-ups and little things that I've noticed through watching myself. I like start I'm a mouth breather. I'm like, why
Oh,
is my fucking mouth gaping like I'm a dog? I'm like, because sometimes we have to go fast, like it'll be like a 20-minute beat, 10-minute beat challenge or whatever,
yeah.
and I'm like, oh dude, close your mouth, you look terrible. But
No, I feel you, dude. Dude, especially with producing, sometimes you just lose sentience in this part of your body, and you're like all psychological. You're just like,
you're on autopilot. Plus, you're not watching yourself normally.
yeah,
So
crazy thing. I actually was gonna do a beginner's tips and tricks for Ableton, because there's not a lot of people that show you the beginner stuff of Ableton. From what I found when I was learning Ableton, I couldn't find shit on how to use the program, and I was like, do you use Fruity Loops, Logic?
I use Logic.
Logic, that's what it was. I was like, I know you don't use Ableton, but I don't think it was Fruity Loops either. But when I was learning Fruity Loops, I mean, shit, you type in FL anywhere, and it's like, oh, well, here's 100 trillion videos of free masterclass and like everything you need, right? But
It's the craziest thing because that DAW used to be like the joke back in the day, and it's funny
thank
because
you.
now it's I mean, obviously it's gotten way better, but
Dude, I mean, there are so many artists. There's so many big producers in every single genre that all use Fruity Loops. And it's funny because I started on Fruity Loops. Like the first time I ever picked up a DAW, the first DAW I ever touched was Fruity Loops. And I was taken as like a joke. And people were like, you're not going to be able to get a lot done on that program. Like, you know, it's just basic. It's like you might as well just have bought in GarageBand, like the big boy version of GarageBand. And I was like, well, fuck, man. Like, why didn't anyone say this to me? They're like, you need Ableton. You need Massive. Do you guys use any Serum or Massive for your plugins? Probably not.
I don't, but I actually, Serum had some like free trials for like 30 days.
Hell
And
yeah.
so I have like a string of beats that I use Serum on. I love that.
Serum's the shit, dude. I love Serum. It's so much more user friendly than Massive, but I was told I should get FL and Massive. This was like right around like I know I'm gonna say it. I don't know if you like keep up with the EDM community, but this was like around the Datsik era when he was super duper big and didn't screw up a lot of shit. Feel free to look that up on your own time, but he's not a good person. He's not a good person. His music's great. I love his music, but what he did was fucked up. But this was like back when he was like the big boy, you know, he was like neck and neck with Excision, and he started using Massive a lot in like his first creations, like his Let It Burn EP, you know, that kind of area. Vitamin, oh, what was it? Vitamin B, I think was the name of the album. But anyways, but I was told like, oh, Massive's how you get those totally cool, you know, wah wah beep boops. And I was like, yeah, man, let's get it. And literally like 3 years later, I end up just doing like polar opposite and getting Ableton and Serum. And like a buddy's trying to get me back into FL actually. He's one of my friends from Colorado. He lives in Castle Rock, but he's a good guy, but I just can't get into it, man. It's like it's weird. FL's super user friendly in certain areas, like their plugins or their stock plugins
Their
are the
piano
fucking
roll.
shit.
I
Their piano
love
rolls the
FL
shit.
they have the best piano roll hands down out of
Absolutely, but
everything
like
out.
it takes forever to lay stuff out. Like Ableton, let's say you have like a 4-bar that you really like, and you're like, cool, I just want to duplicate this, you know, and so I can get, you know, just an 8-bar. You just highlight everything, and it'll highlight everything, and then Control D for duplicate, and it just doot. On FL, I've yet to find out how to be able to do that like efficiently, because you can, you know, copy and paste, but then it pastes it over this, and you got to move it over here. And if you're off by, you know, you're off by a little bit, you're off time or anything, it just, it's, I don't know. It's small little like tedious things. Like, you know, I think very pattern, like I'm very 1 2 3 4 pattern, but I'm also creative. So when it comes to using a DAW that, you know, is all about efficiency, and sure, you know, some other things I got to stretch for, like, you know, like transposition, for example, or like automations are a little bit harder on Ableton. But I don't know. A lot of people say that Ableton is not easy to use and it's not user friendly, and I think that's a lie. It's just something you got to learn the hotkeys. There's like 5 hotkeys you got to learn, and it becomes the easiest DAW to use. So
It's so funny. Everybody, I used to get so offended because when I first started, I was on GarageBand and I refused to move to Logic.
totally.
And like, I was determined. I was like, I can make this work. And so I kept buying these plugins, and then I got like I don't know what it is, main stage, where it brings all the Logic instruments in. And eventually I saw Logic EQ, how you could just separate. And I was like, all right. And then I finally caved and just got Logic. But yeah, the reason I asked for your name was I thought it was Lewin, because they're GarageBand and Beyond, the YouTube channel. He was kind of the same way, and his name was not the same way as you, but the same way as me. Like finally, his whole channel was GarageBand. You could do anything on this program. Screw moving up to Logic. And his name was Lewin, and he moved to Logic.
Oh
Whole
shit!
channel was around how you.
No shit!
But
Oh my God.
it was so funny.
The
But,
irony of that,
I know.
irony.
But the better that you get at producing, the more things you start to need the DAW to do. And
Absolutely.
faster. So, Lewis, wait, which one do you want to be called?
Lewi V. A lot of people think it's like weird when you change your name, but I think it's fucking empowering, honestly. I think it's one of the things that helped me jump out of my bubble. I'm not extroverted. I'm very introverted, and I'm very it's very hard to get me out of the house, actually. But I show these like extroverted tendencies because that's who I wanted to be. You know, I wanted to be the party dude. I wanted to be the guy that walked into the room and everyone's like, oh my God, Luis, what's up? You know, like, I want to be that. I don't want to be fucking, oh, yo, what's up? Like, why the fuck are you here? You know, I didn't want to be that. So, but anyways, like, I'm proud of you, dude. Own that shit. Own that shit, Leah. Own it.
Well, you can't be like you can't be an introverted EDM producer. That's the most party, most like,
here's
let's
the best
all
way
take X and like, it's EDM.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's pretty good.
Yeah, I guess the little head bob and shit.
Oh, yeah.
It's like EDM is associated with like grandma shit.
Word, dude.
Shit when that track drops like, because it's true. Like, even if you're not an EDM fan, I can't think of a music that, like, I can sit here and listen to country stone-faced there's nothing in the rhythmic patterns of that genre that make me want to move my body in any way, shape, or form. Like, I do not understand.
Agreed. There is some really good country songs, though. I will give country that, but all in all, I'm the same way. Country was built off a lot of people's suffering and talking about how they got through it, or how they're trying to get through it, or I can't get through it. And it's something that's supposed to be humbling for everyone in the group. But that's just not the way that I like to go. Like, I don't want a bunch of people sitting there like, damn, bro, like, that kind of got to me.
Eminem just left the chat.
Exactly. Like, and I just can't, I can't vibe with it. Like, I totally understand why it's made. I totally understand the people that listen to it. And I totally understand the songs that aren't depressing. Like, I totally get it. But I just never could get into it. Dude, I'm from the South. I've heard every fucking country song that I can. I've heard every style of it. And in Colorado, they have this thing called the Grizzly Rose, which is just like this country fucking dive.
That is interesting. That is, it's,
oh my God.
Grizzly is exactly what I think of when I think of Colorado. I think of like mountains and bears.
Mountains and bears? Yeah.
I've never been there, and I know it's like a super progressive, like, and like, I think so, right?
Yes.
And so whenever like a state legalizes, I'm always like, oh, that's cool. They're probably pretty liberal or whatever.
Yes, they are highly blue. They are insanely blue.
Yeah,
it
gotcha.
is very blue there. And you know, coming from Atlanta, like it's funny because, man, dude, that state was bright ass red until this election, man. Like, yo, that's a Bible Belt. Like, you better be loving baby Jesus.
Because I'm in Florida, and I came from Massachusetts, which is two polar opposites.
Not to get like too specific and weird, but are you like northern Florida, southern Florida?
I'm in Central. I'm UF. Right next to Gainesville.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I hated Florida. I didn't understand why people liked it, but literally like a month and a half, 2 months ago, I went on a business trip out there to Orlando, and it's the shit, dude. Like it's a party city, but I've heard there's like a lot of places where there's different styles, and those different styles are very like, you know, you have circles. It's kind of like Atlanta that way. Like Atlanta, you don't hear country. It is the hip hop capital, dude. That's like the music there. It's all rap, all hip hop, and like fuck yeah. But dude, you go fucking 2 hours south, like you hit Coffee County. There's actually a county in Georgia called Coffee County. Oh my God, you can hear the banjos. You can hear, you know, like.
It's so funny because like Atlanta is the #1 city for our beat purchases. Like even listening to beats, like when I look at my statistics and BeatStars, almost everyone is from Atlanta. So that's
Atlanta,
definitely,
Georgia, dude.
yeah,
It is the hip hop capital. Like it's very underground hip hop, but a lot of big guys like YMCMB, I'm pretty sure started out of Atlanta, right? And then I know like Waka Flocka did. There's even fucking Bieber. Bieber. I lived in the same city. He lived in, I think it was I think he lived in Duluth County. I was pretty sure it was Swanee. And that was the city I'm from. Like I knew where his neighborhood was, dude. Like it's fucking bonkers. But yeah, like a lot of pop and rap. Luda's from fucking Atlanta.
Right? I know. I was trying to think of other ones because man, so many rappers came out of there. But, which isn't, it's not surprising. But up north, like in like Massachusetts, country is definitely not popular there. rap is definitely more popular than country, but if I was to like actually nail down like a genre that's most popular there, that I found, it's just probably rock and pop. Anything modern, anything on the radio is going to be what every Bostonian is like.
Bet. Yeah, bet. Totally. That's exactly how Oregon is here, man. Like, so I'm coming from Denver. You know, thinking I'm an EDM producer, I probably shouldn't have moved, but I needed the move. We absolutely love it here, dude. Like, it is the shit. But yeah, no, it's really, they really like old rock and roll, you know, rock and roll. They're, you know, I mean, there is some pop, but most everybody here listens to like rock and roll or like 80s rock, you know, that's like the big thing. And dude, I was raised by like a fucking hairband lover. My dad loved fucking like, he loved Metallica, he loved Iron Maiden, you know. I'm trying to think of all the other ones he was really, really into. Megadeth, he liked. And then like he would like bounce, you know, in and out. He would go into like, you know, he loved System of a Down. I don't know if you know like Serj Tankian and stuff.
When System of a Down like came out, I think I was the System of a Down age.
Hell like, yeah. Cool thing about System of a Down, it doesn't matter what genre you listen to, you fuck with System of a Down. Like, System of a Down's just so unique in the way that they present themselves. And like, there's always one song that everyone can get around with. And it's like, dude, Chop Suey. I've yet to meet somebody that didn't like Chop Suey from them.
It was because I think they did something nobody had done. But exactly. I'm sure people had done it, but it just wasn't mainstream, and they made it mainstream. Like the speed shifts in that.
Oh yeah, Serj's voice is fucking boom, mind blowing. It's like operatic screamo. That's why I love the EDM community, because like the music don't make fucking sense. You can't sit here and tell me that the first person to make fucking actual dubstep was like, yeah, I knew exactly what I was making. No, the fuck he didn't. He was turning dials and it made something that sounded fucking sick and he worked with it. And like, I don't know, it's like Van Gogh of music genre. It's like just going off the deep end and fucking seeing how fucking weird you can make something still musically appealing. Have you gone to a dubstep show?
I've never been to, I've been to like EDM clubs, but as far as like going to something like that live, no. I've never actually been to like a live EDM show.
Wow. So I highly recommend that. You should definitely put that on your to-do list.
I assume it would be like the clubs on steroids, because I mean every time that I've ever been, you know, at like a rave or something, it's obviously insanely freaking fun.
Yeah.
Because everything is so fast. They like do shit with the lights.
Yeah.
Like it was so funny too, because I went with a friend and she was like, oh yeah, and we were talking about where we were gonna go that night. And like I had named like a couple of clubs that like we always kind of went to.
For sure.
She's like, there's this other club. I'm like, well, we might as well just go to one of these two. Like, what's gonna be the difference? And she's like, oh, it's way different. She's like everything. And man, I mean, she wasn't lying.
Yeah, no. The amount, that's another beautiful thing about EDM, dude. EDM is such a fucking vague word. Like, you have tear out dubstep, which is people mosh pitting. You have fucking house music, which is a bunch of people rolling balls just going, dude, it's just so vague. So it's like, yeah, it's like it can be in the same place, you can be doing the same thing, and it can be the same DJ, and obviously nothing's really going to change that much. But it's the only genre of music that you can be like, oh shit, phase one's playing. Are you sure you're gonna be okay going to this? You know, like walk into the Grizzly Rose, a country bar. You know what you're gonna fucking get. You're gonna get 25 people line dancing. And you know, you can already hear country. When I say the word country, you can hear it in your head, can't you?
And so many people are like always by themselves. Like, I couldn't picture going to like a hip hop concert alone or whatever. But
Yeah.
a country concert, like, I feel like that's like
You have to go alone.
or even a bar. Like, the people are totally fine with being like, well, I'm just going to go to the bar after work. And like, it's so bizarre to me to like by yourself. Oh yeah. I can't picture using a bar to have a drink alone.
Same, dude. Like I don't know. Like, and that, let's make a full circle. That's why I wanted to be so much more extroverted. So I am a extroverted introvert.
You're
so,
an ambivert.
Yeah, an ambivert. Exactly. Yeah. I push more towards the extroverted side, but deep down, I just want to be home with my girlfriend beating up some monsters on my PlayStation. Like that's my happy hole, you know. Like that's my little circle of happiness. But if you're like, yo, dude, let's you know, we're gonna go out to this bar, we're gonna go get plastered, and then we're gonna go to this fucking concert, and then I don't fucking know, we're probably gonna end up in the middle of nowhere at some dude's party. I'll be like, fuck yeah, like let's get into it. If anybody that's like super introverted is listening to this, don't freak out. Be a weirdo. You will attract the people that you want in your life if you're yourself. Like, if you just sit there and hide behind like a fake shadow, you're only gonna find shadowed ass people.
It also holds you back to a degree, like taking yourself. I feel like that keeps a lot of people out of music, worrying about what people are gonna think, and I don't want to be on camera, and because I was like that until I was like, who the fuck cares? Like, if it's something that you feel like is going to make you happy, then deal with the cringe. And it's funny too, because you totally get desensitized to putting out a video and getting like 2 views. You just don't care anymore because it becomes.
No. Well, and the funny thing about it is, like, you know, as us being more underground, and a lot of your community, you were saying, are underground, it's like, what's up, guys? Like, a lot of people like get upset, and you know, I definitely did it a lot. I still do it. Like, you know, you only see like 30 people liked it, and you're like, brain like explodes. You're like, oh my god, 30 fucking people, like that's like mind-boggling, you know, or like 10 or 15 or like 1 or 2. Like, don't think of it that way. Like, if you have 1, 2, or 3 people liking your shit, those are 3 actual people. It's not just somebody scrolling through going, did it because they just fucking saw, you know, G-Eazy in the title. Like, those are, I don't know, when you're small, your community is actually there for you. Like, those are your homies. I know one of the things that you definitely started talking to me about, a lot about, was that meme that got big for me. And I got a lot of haters because they're like, why the fuck would you be putting, you know, garlic sauce right next to the fucking $1,200 laptop? And, you know, the funniest one that I got, I can actually see if I can find the URL, but I got put on an like a Reddit, like an r/Dominoes. And I actually had a manager like post underneath it, and he was like, do not do this. This is insanely unsanitary, and whoever allowed for this to happen should be fired, as well as the employee. And I just commented underneath it. I was like, I haven't worked there for like 2 years. Like, I don't know, man. Like, what I'm trying to get to here is, like, you're always gonna have fucking haters. It doesn't matter if, like, it doesn't matter if you make the best music in the world or if you make music that only, 5 people can get along with or 500 million people can get along with. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you're always going to have haters. You're always going to have, those times where you expected more. You're always going to have, some pieces that you're like, I feel like I could have done better. But the reality is, especially in the times like right now, people aren't there expecting to hear the #1 hit song. They just want to see you progress, dude. Like, they just want to hear you progress. Like, and I was really I'm really bad at it. I'm really bad at upload time. I have this hard thing where I don't upload shit like ever because I'm like hypersensitive. I'm one of those people, like, I don't drop shit unless I get down to it. Like, if I can't headbang to it, it's not on my SoundCloud. If I can't get down to it, I have not posted a chop of it. If I can't get down to it, it's not fucking played in my set. Like, it's one of those things you got to be like, you know what? Even though, my side chain was like a little fucking off, or like, even though, I can hear like my EQ is kind of clipping here and there. It's like, I don't know, man. If it's your first 2 songs, just slap a fucking limiter on it, throw it up. Like, the biggest thing is just make sure your shit's not clipping. And have fun doing it. It doesn't matter if it sounds like shit now. Just keep on fucking working on it and show your community. Be like, yo, look at what I just did. And more people are gonna join. More people are gonna be excited to listen to you. More people are gonna want to hear you progress. Like, some of my favorite artists, I followed them at like 200 followers, and now they're literally headlining shows. One of their names is Christian. But Christian, I followed him when he had 200 likes. His music was like not well mastered in his opinion, and blah blah blah. But I don't know, man. I absolutely loved it, and like I just watching him progress was like definitely a motivational thing for me. Like, it made me want to get into making music more. So put shit out, guys.
I don't know if I did a video on it or if I was thinking about doing a video on it, but it was yeah, I did do a video on it. It was just, it was about exactly that. Like, and I do understand because a couple of people had messaged and they're like, well, you're just making beats, which is true. I have a lot of freedom. Even if I release like a shitty beat, the stems are there. So if they just like one loop, they're still gonna like buy it because they're gonna send it to an engineer to get redone.
Yeah,
anyway.
to get mastered.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
But like, even if it wasn't like when I first came out, I was rapping and I like was releasing. At the time, I thought it sounded good, but I also just didn't have the ear for it yet. And the thing is like, there were still people that started following me. So if you're, because sometimes it doesn't really matter if they like your music or not, they just like you.
Dude, and like, I'm an EDM producer. I don't need hip hop beats, and if anything, if I needed one, I'd make one. But honestly, like, when you hit me up, I was like, she's fucking cool as shit, dude. So of course I'm following you, and of course I'll see you on my timeline. And I'm like, yo, that's a fucking killer beat. I'll slap you a like I'll even put in the comments. I'm like, yo, this one fucking slaps, dude. Like, good shit. Because like, sure, I'm not there to pick up beats, but like, you're fucking cool as shit, and that's the mentality like a lot of people don't understand. Is like, they're stuck in this phase where they're like, yo, I gotta be making shit like these big guys. No, the fuck you don't, dude. You just gotta be you. You just gotta hang out. You just gotta do your shit. And like, nobody starts making music like these guys that have been doing it for 30 years. Do you really think they picked up their first beat player in fucking, 1990 and made a banger off some vinyl and some beats? No, they could barely beat match. It's all about that learning and that progress. And like, a lot of people, a lot of us, like, we follow each other because we're all in the same group. We're all trying to learn. And like, that's what we want to see. We want to watch you progress. Like, I don't give a fuck if you sound like G-Eazy. Matter of fact, I don't want you to sound like G-Eazy. Like, I don't give a fuck if your mastering ain't as good as Dre. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for how you're doing. Like, I want to help if I can, or I want to hear you progress. Like, it's one of those things, it's like, we all look back on our old music. We're like, this is shit.
It's so hard to look at your own stuff objectively, but I think the main issue with branding is everybody believes that their music is the product, when it took me a minute to realize that the music wasn't the product. Yes, it's the product I'm selling in my case, but I'm the actual product.
Absolutely. Those pieces that you think that are shit, like your first 2 songs, or even the ones that you never released, or even maybe something you're working on right now, even if you think it's shit, that's your fucking building blocks. That's your foundation, dude, because every single time you come out with a song, you should be learning something else you haven't done in the last. And like, eventually you're just going to fucking hit it. You're going to hit that one song that you're truly fucking proud of. And for me, that was Planet Borge. Like, I was truly fucking proud of that song. And, you know, ironically enough, the video of me making it in Domino's actually blew up. Like, it's just one of those things. Like, I would have never in a million years thought I'd be a meme. And I honestly, every single time I've tried to do something creative like this, it's flopped. But music's been the only thing that is like, I've been able to just keep going with. Ironically enough, like, I got big off a meme. Sure, I did. For that one moment in time, I got big off a meme. But the reality is that meme would have never existed if I didn't put my all in all into it. That's why it got so big, is because that meme was legitimate. Like, I really was working on my shit while prepping. Like, but the reason that photo was taken, because my buddy was like, the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm mastering on the side, but I'm doing some prep. And he was like, what the fuck? And started dying laughing. And I'm like, yo, honestly, that is pretty funny. Take a photo of it. It would be funny.
I feel like, because I went through the comments, of course, it was inspiring. And that was what I think all the reposters were reposting it for, was the fact that, you know, a lot of us are stuck in positions like that. It's like, you could be somebody like Dr. Dre, and you could be picking up cigarette butts outside of some, you know, and that was what was so inspirational about the photo, is it's like, you know, I feel like it's, at least for me, like, it made me feel a lot less alone.
I'm so glad that it got big, because I take it as like a meme. I think it's just funny. But the reality is, you're totally right. Like, almost every single person watching this, almost every single person that produces music in the start, they start fucking working a 9 to 5, dude. Like, you don't just quit your fucking job, make 5 beats, and then become Dre. Like, that doesn't exist, you know? Like, it's very rare. And if, you know, you get lucky enough to have that in your life, fucking take the opportunity, dude. What the fuck? How the world works is, the slower, the longer, the more time it takes to get somewhere, the longer you ride that ride.
First of all, you have to start. And then, because the truth is, and this isn't my saying, I don't know where I'm getting this, I've heard it, but there's people with like a quarter of your talent making it in whatever industry that you want to be in. And so start. But the other thing is, like, understand that, yeah, you could absolutely get lucky. Like, Eminem became a millionaire overnight. That was in a totally different time in the music industry, but still, one viral TikTok and something similar could happen. But the statistics say that it won't. And if you give up, it never will.
It's not supposed to go perfect. And that's the beauty of it. Like, you know, you're not going to blow up overnight. And even if you do, you know, it's going to be when you're least expecting it. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much, Leah. I really, really appreciate talking to you today. It was super fun. I'm Lewi V. Give me a follow on Instagram. That is at lewivmusic, LEWIV music. And then also you can check out my YouTube. If you just type in Lewi V, I should be the first thing that pops up. Look for this guy, this little screamy dude, this dripping black and white thing. That's how you know it's me. But thank you so much, Leah. I really, really appreciate talking to you. It was super fun. Even though this is edited for you guys, we literally sat here for like 3 hours and just shot the shit. It was fucking awesome. I haven't had a conversation with someone talking about music that long in a long fucking time. So big shout out. Thank you so much for having me, dude.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching.